talk about and reflect on this question of meaning, on how is it that we can lead a meaningful existence and give meaning to our everyday life. I think this question has come to hold a lot of relevance and deep significance given the times we're in today, where in the middle of a pandemic, we are realizing the dissonance which has shrouded our lives despite the technological advancement and the promises of connectivity. We are realizing the grave loneliness that we often experience. We are understanding how we are reduced and objectified as consumers of materiality, of information that is inundated to us. And this pandemic, in some sense, has also been, in a lot of sense, in fact, has also been a constant reminder of death, of this impermanence, the fragility of our existence, and how in this temporality do we ought to live. I think it is here that this question of meaning and the constant reminder of meaninglessness comes into a contention, and that is what I'd like to reflect on today. I'd like to first begin with one tool that I find very helpful in understanding the world as it is with its given meaninglessness and absurdity, and that is the paradigm of existentialist philosophy. Why I find existentialism to be very helpful is because it places front and center the idea that human complexity, human subjectivity, and uncertainty are really the only truths in life. It rejects all sorts of grand narratives. It rejects the overarching truths, the rights and wrongs, and anything that gives a certainty to our existence, whether it's religion, it's politics, or it's economic systems. And it rejects this logical rationality of modernity. So it places us into this terrain of questioning, into this terrain of meaninglessness, seeming meaninglessness, because we are rejecting all these entities that give meaning. But it is not the instability or the destabilized area where existentialism prods us to. It pushes us into a domain of possibilities. It helps us to reflect that yes, there may be no meaning outside, but how is it that I, as an active agent, can give meaning and construct meaning in the circumstances that I have? So even though I realize that there is no overarching right or wrong, how is it that I still ought to act as a human being? An example for this is Albert Camus' novel The Plague, wherein he says that the plague starts randomly, the plague ends randomly. In the middle there is utter chaos, there is devastation, there is death, there is morbidity. And there is no understanding or, why it started, where it started from, the causality of it, which we often reduce ourselves to when we are thinking of meaning of life. Why is it happening? But despite that absurdity, we see characters like a doctor who questions whether he ought to act out of compassion, out of empathy, go and help his neighbor who's outside, or stay inside and act out of self-preservation. It is in these absurd realities, in the seeming meaningless environments, do we enter a quest of morality which comes from an inner reflexivity, which comes from an inner churning, inner deliberation of how I ought to act as a human being. And that is where this absurdity becomes the breeding ground for morality. It becomes the soil from which my virtues emanate, because there are no virtues that are imposed on me from a higher authority, from a religious order, from the fear of God, from a government, but they're coming from within me as I strive to make choices that are authentic to me, as I strive to make choices by imagining and thinking of possibilities. So existentialism, because it rejects certainties, because it rejects objective truth, really unleashes us into a possibility of freedom, where as human beings we're able to think of ourselves anew, embrace our own complexity, and give meaning to the circumstance we may find ourselves in. In a similar light of this authentic living, I find another tool to be extremely helpful, which is Buddhism as a philosophy. Buddhism places front and center this idea that this life, this existence is impermanent. And when I begin to live with this awareness of the temporality of my life, of the impermanence of my everyday existence, and I see life from the vantage point of death, that today I'm seeing as already a finite. I understand there's an eternity of life, but this existence is finite. So do I go into a domain of meaninglessness? Do I think that, okay, well, if everything is impermanent, do I become a nihilist and I enter, a passivity? Or do I become an active agent of change for my own life by giving meaning to my everyday? Do I enter a quest of how I ought to act as a human being? What should my conduct and behavior be? What difference does my existence create today? What value do I bring in my relationships today? And I think with that quest, we really come to an understanding of making authentic choices for our own life, for making choices that resonate with who we really are. And also it gives a possibility to go beyond our smaller selves, to think of ourselves as an interconnected whole with our nature, with the fellow people, and find beauty and meaning in the ordinary, in the mundane, and in our relationships with other people. So that's one concept of impermanence that I find very helpful in Buddhism. And along with that, I think the idea that virtues and vices are not essentially two different things. They're not mutually exclusive entities, but they are same at a fundamental level. This awareness to understand that the inherent nature of a virtue or a vice is the same gives a lot of possibilities for change and to find meaning in the complexity we are in. For instance, let's take the emotion of anger, often considered a vice, a negative emotion, something that needs to be worked on because people feel an inner disharmony on account of anger, and also it creates a lot of suffering with the people around. But the same anger, we realize, is the driving force for people who are committed to social change, for revolutionaries, for any sort of commitment to truth and justice. So anger at a fundamental level is not right or wrong. It is just anger. It is how I channelize it. This awareness that the superficial categorization or the difference of virtue and vice that I do can often make me feel, regret, can often make me resent my own self of not acting in a way I ought to be, because there is this outside sense of morality. But when I come and I understand that there is essentially no difference, right, in the virtue and the vice, it's how I channelize this emotion. I begin to find so much meaning in embracing my own complexity, and it gives me so much hope in really finding possibilities of change and transformation in other people and in our collective society. So I think with the tools of existentialism and Buddhism, this is how I find meaning and what I think can help us in living a meaningful life, which is to become active agents who can give meaning to their suffering, who can find possibilities to reimagine the world, and who have hope in this transformation. Thank you so much for listening.